You feel it in the pause before their congratulations, in the question that follows your good news, in the way your wins seem to cost them something. Society calls that friendship. Psychology calls it something else. And by the end of this, you'll see every envious person you've ever known through a lens you couldn't have named before. Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody tells you. Envy is not a personality flaw. It is a mechanism. It runs on rules. And once you understand the rules, you stop being confused by people who should be happy for you. Psychologists have studied envy for decades, and they've drawn a line through the middle of it that changes everything. It separates the people who want what you have from the people who want you to lose what you have. Those are not the same person. They are not the same threat. And mistaking one for the other is how you end up wounded by the people closest to you. You call it a friend who's just competitive. A psychologist calls it benign envy. The kind that says, I want to build what you built. That one you can work with. That one admires you. But there is a second kind. Malicious envy. It doesn't want to reach your level. It wants to bring you down to its own. It doesn't say, how did you do it? It says, why should you get that and not me? Here's the test that separates them. It's called the win-lose check. When something good happens to you, ask yourself one question. Does this friend see your win as something that adds to their life or as something that takes from it? Benign envy grows alongside you. Malicious envy can't stand to watch you rise because your rise makes their stagnation visible. Your success is not the problem. It is the spotlight that exposes what they don't have. That is the engine behind every sign you're about to see. Sign 1, the mask of praise. The first sign is the loudest compliment in the room and the emptiest. You'll notice the maliciously envious friend praises you in public with an audience where the words cost nothing. They clap loudest when others are watching. But in private, when it's just the two of you, the warmth dims. The enthusiasm thins. The congratulations come with a question attached. Oh, how did you manage that one? That's not curiosity. It's an audit. You call it support. Psychology calls it a performance. The praise is not for you. It's for the witnesses, so that no one can later accuse them of being threatened by you. The test. Notice where the praise happens. Public applause with private indifference is not friendship. It is positioning. Sign 2, the comparison trap. The second sign is that they can never simply let you win. Every achievement of yours becomes a contest they have to reframe. You tell them about your promotion. They tell you about their coworker's bigger one. You mention the trip you're planning. They mention the trip they took last year that was better. It's never deliberate. It's automatic. Their mind can't process your good news without immediately measuring it against their own. This is the mechanism at its most honest. A secure friend receives your news and celebrates it. An envious friend receives your news and competes with it because your success reads to them as their failure. The test. Bring them a win and watch what they do with it. If they can't let it stand on its own for even 30 seconds, you're not dealing with a friend. You're dealing with a scoreboard. Sign 3, the sharpened compliment. The third sign hides inside the nicest thing they say to you. The backhanded compliment is the envious person's favorite weapon because it lets them wound you while keeping both hands clean. You look great for someone your age. That's impressive. I'd never have the patience for something like that. Good for you, seriously. I mean it. You feel the sting. Then you doubt yourself for feeling it because the words were kind. That doubt is the trap. You call it a compliment. A psychologist calls it a containment strategy. The message underneath is always the same. You are good, but only up to a limit, and I get to set the limit. The test. If a sentence would be an insult without the compliment wrapped around it, it is an insult. The wrapping is not a gift. It's camouflage. Sign 4. The convenient absence. The fourth sign is where they are when things go well for you. Notice the pattern. The envious friend shows up in your hard times. They are there for the breakups, the setbacks, the disappointments, and that can feel like loyalty. But look closer, and you'll see the same person goes quiet in your good times. Your success triggers a silence they can't explain and won't acknowledge. This is the cruelest part of the mechanism. Again, this is the cruelest part of the mechanism because it masquerades as the thing it isn't. It wears the costume of a friend who supports you. But it's actually the opposite. Their comfort in your struggle isn't empathy, it's relief. Your pain keeps you level with them. Your rise does not. The test. Notice who celebrates your wins, not who comforts your losses. A friend is present for both. An envious acquaintance is only comfortable when you're down, because down is where they don't feel outranked. Sign 5. The leaked confidence. The fifth sign is that your private words have a way of becoming public, in the most flattering disguise. You tell the envious friend something sensitive. You trust them with it. Then, weeks later, you hear it come back to you, not as a betrayal, but as gossip about someone else. Or it surfaces in a way that makes you look worse than you intended. You call it a slip. Psychology calls it a power move. Divulging what you entrusted to them is how they quietly rebalance the hierarchy. It puts you on the defensive and reminds you that they hold something over you. The test. What you tell them in confidence is a measure of what they think of you. If your secrets circulate, you are not a friend to them. You are a source. Sign 6. The competitive reframe. The sixth sign is that every ordinary exchange becomes a contest you never agreed to enter. You mention a hobby. They have a better one. You share a goal. They've already done it. You express an opinion. They need to correct it. It's exhausting, and it's not an accident. The maliciously envious person turns conversation into a ladder. They have to climb one rung above you. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. They're not actually better than you at these things. They're anxious. Your presence makes them feel smaller, and the only way they know to feel big again is to diminish you in small, repeated ways. The test. Pay attention to whether you feel drained after you spend time with them. Sustained exposure to someone who must win every exchange is not companionship. It's a slow bleed on your sense of self. Sign 7. The mirror of your fear. The seventh sign is the subtlest because it lives inside you. The maliciously envious friend doesn't just envy you. They predict envy in everyone around you. They warn you that other people are jealous of you, that your success makes you a target, that you should keep your wins quiet. They present this as protection. It is not protection. It is projection. You call it a heads up. Psychology calls it a mirror. When someone is convinced the whole world resents your success, they are usually telling you how they themselves feel. The warning is the confession, dressed as concern. The test. When someone tells you that others are jealous of you, ask who's really talking. The friend who constantly reassures you that they're not jealous is telling you they are. The need to say it is the tell. What not to do. The mistake that keeps you trapped before the response, the warning. Because most advice on this topic fails for one reason. It tells you to confront, and confrontation with a maliciously envious person rarely ends well. Do not confront them with a list of their behaviors. They will not see it as honesty. They will see it as an attack, and it will confirm everything they already believe about you. Do not beg for their approval, hoping your success will finally earn it. It won't. Their envy isn't about what you lack. It's about what they lack. And do not shrink to make them comfortable. This is the quietest betrayal of all, because it's self-inflicted. Every win you hide, every achievement you downplay to spare their feelings, that is you doing their envy's work for them. You call it being considerate. The mechanism calls it surrender. What to do? The quiet, precise withdrawal. So here's what actually works. Not through confrontation, not through explanation, through a quiet, precise withdrawal of trust. First, stop feeding the mechanism. Stop sharing your biggest wins with the people who can't celebrate them. The information is fuel. Cut the supply. Your good news deserves an audience that can hold it without it burning them. Second, reframe the relationship. Decide consciously what this person gets from you. You are allowed to keep them at a distance where they can't wound you, while not declaring war. The goal is not to punish them. The goal is to protect what you've built. Third, run the win-lose check on yourself. Ask, whose side am I on in my own life? Because the deepest trap of the envious friend is that you start to believe your success is something to apologize for. It is not. Your growth is not an insult to anyone. It is the natural result of your work. And here is the honest ending to this. Some of these friends won't survive the boundary you set. That is not a loss. That is the mechanism showing you which relationships were built on comparison instead of care. So I'll leave you with a question, and I want you to answer it honestly. What is your win-lose test? When something good happens to you, who in your life feels it as a gift, and who feels it as a threat? Because the people who pass that test are rare, and the people who fail it were never really on your side to begin with. If you're still here, if you made it to the end of this, you're not like the others. You're the kind of person who wants to see people clearly, not through the mask. And that's exactly the kind of person I write these for. So, if you want to keep seeing the hidden mechanics behind the people in your life, subscribe. Because the ones who understand this don't just survive their jealousy, they outgrow it.